The Domestic Building Services Panel is a 15-strong membership, and we are what we termed as the Association of Associations. We have been going since about 1997, when at the time it was thought that industry needed some sort of guidance for heating engineers to design heating systems in domestic properties to a certain standard. Prior to that, it hadn't been done, and it was a bit willy-nilly, a bit rule of thumb, and engineers used to use something called a Mears calculator, which was just a bit random. So what happened is the design guide was written by the membership, and the first guide, now into its nearly 11th guide since then, contains all the guidance required for you to be able to design a heating system and to be able to put a boiler into that heating system. So you work out the heat loss, design the heat loss, and work out that and fit an appliance in according to that. So it was decided that the panel was growing in proportion, and over the years the membership was increasing, and people were participating but not necessarily in the actual work needed to create the design guide. So currently we have 4 design guides. We have the Domestic Heating Design Guide, the Solar Hot Water Heating Design Guide, and the Underfloor Heating Design Guide, and the Rainwater Design Guide. The current project is we are just finishing off a new heating design guide, which meets all the new regulations, requirements, the building safety regulator requirements. So on the principal contractor, main contractor, is really significant now that work is undertaken responsibly by heating designers, and it's installed to regulations, requirements, and it's really what industry needs. Warranties are now will be properly in place if it's done by a competent person who's been trained and deemed competent and sitting on a competent person scheme. So there'll be a lot more duty required or responsibility required on competent person schemes to make sure that those people installing heating appliances, etc., are doing it in an appropriate way, responsibly. So the main changes in the new design guide is that now in its 11th edition, it was just about to be published, is that it now follows the 12831 BSEN 12831 standard, and it follows all the regulations in the approved document L, part J, and so on. So it's a bigger, better guide. It's now nearly 440 pages big, and it also includes system criteria documentation, which is really sort of a really important part of doing things to regulations, in that it follows design from installation, commissioning to handover. So at the end of the day, the consumer's got a full copy of what's required in documented evidence of what's been done to the property that's been done. And so on, if that property is sold, then that remains with the property. And then passed on to the new owner. So there is like a passport almost of what's there. One day that will probably go digital, but for the moment it'll be a paper-based system, and will be referenced within the new approved document L when it's being published. So the building safety regime is really important to contractors now, not just those in the commercial setting, but in the residential domestic setting too. A lot more responsibility on those, because they need to follow codes of practice, and if those codes of practice are not in place, things go wrong, as has been proved. So there will be new requirements on principal designer, contractors, all part of the installation team, all the way down. The person at the top, being the principal designer, contractor, will be responsible for making sure that the system has been designed, installed, commissioned and handed over, and notified to a competent person scheme, following the rules. We've worked closely with the Heat Pump Association, soon to be the Heat Pump HPA UK, I think it is. We work with them on a domestic heat pump design guide. That is now going into peer review, so that's nearly finished. I'm hoping that will be published in the next 6 to 9 months, once it's been peer reviewed and fully edited. Apart from that, there's an integration guide that's going to be looked at, And most importantly, for CIBSE is going to be a training module. So we're going to create a training module which will align with the Domestic Heating Design Guide, and there'll be an accredited course delivered by our members, by CIBSE themselves, who wants to, the City and Guilds, people like that. There's lots of the training bodies out there. So it'll be a proper forthright course which follows the design guide, and people will fully understand how to do a full building survey on the fabric, look at heat loss, look at the heat design, and fit an appliance in accordance with manufacturer's instructions. So the guide has always been used in training courses in the past years. Certainly originally there was something called the Institute of Domestic Heating and Environmental Engineers. That was a course which was aligned to the Domestic Heating Design Guide originally. So we want to reintroduce that course and bring that back in because it felt that there's something missing in industry, and what we've now created is very comprehensive, and it will align with all the rules and regulations and standards. So importantly, bringing a new training course back in is both going to be useful for common person scheme who have training courses for their operatives, registrants rather, and they'll be able to do this course as part of their reasons to join, or the requirements to join common person scheme. So undertaking that course as part of their own requirements would be useful, and it's always in the past been used by training bodies.